So you've built your AWS workloads to be highly available, multi-region, resilient, following best practices, yet you're still paged at 2 a.m. in the morning. We've all likely had this happen before, and even though we follow our run books, there is still the possibility that there is an AWS service event that is triggering this. If we had that information at the beginning, that would save us countless hours of troubleshooting. There are AWS solutions in place, such as AWS Health Aware, that will allow us to get notifications in place. But what we're going to be discussing today is a visual dashboard that will help enable you to see this information as well as past events. What's great about this solution is that it's brand new. It was posted in AWS's GitHub last week, and there's no blogs yet existing on how to do this. So we get to be some of the forefront in implementing this design. The setup is very simple. We'll have it done in 15 minutes, and the cost is around $30 a month. First, here's an example of what the design looks like when completed. Here's the dashboard including the scheduled events, the active events, and any past events that have already occurred. You'll be able to see the details of past events here listed there, as well as the impacted accounts in the organization. Let's cover the architecture now. What you're seeing right now is the overarching architecture for this dashboard that we're going to be setting up. We're going to go ahead and start in the bottom left, which uses AWS Health Events to notify when there's an event occurring. AWS will push AWS events with the health notification type to your service bus. We will be setting that up to listen to these rules, and we will then push it to the accounts event bus. This event bus that you're looking at right now is the one that will span multiple accounts. So this is available if you set it up through multiple accounts. However, you need to host the setup in the primary account for any notifications. Taking a look next, the event bus that is set up for the primary account will then push the notifications to a specific rule, which pushes it to a Lambda feeding into a DynamoDB where these records are saved. In order to read those records, you will need to have an Athena Lambda connector, which then pushes this information into QuickSight. In this step, you will need to make sure that your QuickSight reader is set up to have the correct permissions in order to view this information in DynamoDB with the Lambda connector. And finally, you can deploy this in multiple accounts with children accounts inside the organization, pushing to the primary bus on the primary account. This will allow you to get notifications sent to all the children accounts related to the primary account in the organization. In order to publish this dashboard, you'll need the code listed here in the GitHub for this solution. Some of the other requirements is the accounts will need to have business or enterprise support on them. You will need to have permissions for the QuickSight reader, as mentioned before, in order to read the Athena connector. And last, we will be using Python for the deployment. You will need to make sure that the packages listed here are installed and ready to use. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and deploy. I'm going to walk you through deploying the health dashboard in the management account of your AWS organization, as this is the minimum to get the dashboard working. All the steps we are going to take are outlined in the GitHub link. I'm going to use Cloud Shell as it can read some of your configurations easy enough, but you can run this from your local machine as long as it's configured with the AWS CLI and credentials. We are going to clone the repository first, and then we're going to run the Python script that kicks off the CloudFormation template that does all the magic. I'm going to go ahead and open up my Cloud Shell, pop it in here. Alright, so as you can see here, it already cloned it for us, and we're going to change into that directory real quick. You'll see a bunch of files here in the directory that I cloned. All we're worried about is the Python script that we're going to run. Now I've gone ahead and already taken care of the dependencies that were outlined before, so all we have to do is go ahead and run it. I'm going to be using US East 1. For the S3 bucket name, you can use whatever bucket name you'd like as long as you own it. If it doesn't exist already, it will create it for you as well. The nice thing about Cloud Shell is that it's automatically able to detect your AWS organization ID. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. And then what you're seeing here is your QuickSight service role. This is the default name for your service role, and like we said before, you'll need to make sure that this has been enabled for Athena access as well. And then my QuickSight identity region is US East 1 as well. Alright, so this is going to show you available QuickSight users. Go ahead and select the appropriate one from the list. And then it's going ahead and kick off. So now if you go ahead and take a look over in your CloudFormation stacks, you're going to see the stack right here is starting to create, the health event dashboard stack. Now you'll see other stacks start to appear as well. There'll probably be 5 or so more that appear here, but this is the main one to watch for. Once it completes, you know that you're all set. So this is going to take about 10 minutes for the deploy, so I'll go ahead and cut back over when that's done. As you can see, the primary stack is complete here, the health event dashboard stack. With that complete, let's take a look at our QuickSight. You'll see that we have the new event health analysis. So if you pull that up, I don't have any active events going right now, so that's empty, as well as the upcoming events, so there's nothing on this account. So it shows no data. But if you look at historical events, you'll see a few items that it's been able to populate there. So these are all events that you be able to pull different information for, such as the service, regions, account, and the type. If you do this with organizations and with multiple accounts in there, you'll also be able to pull other accounts inside of here that would show up as events. Alright, that's everything there is to getting it deployed.